This is the audience section. Let's start with an overview. Only users with the editor, full, and manager UPLs have access to this section. It is a collection of all your contacts, aka recipients, and is where users manage, organize, and upload contacts. The menu pane at the left shows the parts of this section: contacts, contact fields, groups, segments, forms, subscriptions, imports, and connect. Groups, segments, and subscriptions are your contact lists. Subscriptions and their companion forms, which are sign-up forms, are only to be used for subscription type subaccounts. Note that anywhere there is a lock icon, it means the data is from our data primary subaccount that we use to share audience data and cannot be edited or archived. Let's proceed with the parts of the audience section. Contacts. When you select the audience section, Contacts is the landing screen. A contact is a single member of the audience, uniquely identified by an email address. There are 3 status tabs: active, error, and opt-out. For each one, the respective contacts counts are shown in parentheses. Active means current and can be used. Error means there was an unsuccessful sending for a contact. Some examples are hard bounce, a permanent obstruction to email delivery, such as a non-existent email address, a block due to content, or the server rejecting an email as junk mail or spam. Soft bounce, a temporary failure due to an outage, full mailbox, or another issue that should resolve itself. Delivery is reattempted every 30 minutes over a 30-hour period before giving up on reaching the receiving server. Typographical errors of an email address, such as using to instead of the @ sign, comma instead of period, missing a letter in @nyu.edu, missing @nyu.edu altogether, and so on. Opt-out means that a contact has unsubscribed. This applies to subscription type subaccounts, where contacts who receive campaigns that are not force type have the right to unsubscribe as required by international privacy laws. Let's return to the Active tab. To view the contact details for a contact, simply select the desired email address in the listing. Let's search for a contact. Input the word or characters in the search field. The results display. Let's select the email address. The contact details appear. Some examples are email, email first name, email last name. To the right, you can review the subscriptions or groups this contact belongs to. Let's go back to the top. Let's select the Emails tab. This tab shows the campaigns that were sent, including the delivered date, whether the contact received, opened, and/or clicked on it, as indicated by a check mark for yes and an X for no. This data can be helpful. For example, you can use it to check whether a campaign was or wasn't received. Let's go back to the landing screen for contacts. There is the ability to add contacts individually. However, it may be more useful to import your list of contacts en masse via the Imports tool. To add an individual contact, select the Add Contact button. The Contacts Add Contact screen appears. At the minimum, there only needs to be an email address to add a contact. However, it may be helpful to include the full name. We will use a fictitious email address. Let's copy and paste it. For email first name, we'll put John. For email last name, we'll put Doe. Input or select any other data as desired. Let's go back to the top of the screen. On the right, you can also add this contact to a group or groups. In the listing, select a desired group by checking the checkbox for it. Let's select In the News 2026. When ready, select the Save and Close button. The added contact is saved and the success message appears near the top of the screen. This is the contact field screen. Contact fields are used to collect and store information about your contacts, thus becoming your contacts' profiles. Possible uses are to create segments, personalize email content, include it as data in imported files to groups and subscriptions, add to your sign-up forms and subscription center. The latter is for subscription type subaccounts. The ones marked with a lock icon mean the fields are from our data primary subaccount that we use to share data and cannot be edited or archived. Else, the fields are manually created by the users. Some common locked examples are NetID, NetID email address, email first name, and email last name. Other examples are is employee, is enrolled student, is NYC student, and so on. Some examples of manually created fields might be employee department, anniversary year, graduation year, preferred first name, etc. To view the details of a contact field, select the name in the listing. Let's select anniversary year. The Edit field pop-up box appears. Because this is a date, the parameters are date-based. The fields for input and/or selection are field name, field type, date range values from and to, and shortcut name. The shortcut name is how Emma identifies the field at a code level. When a field is created, the name that you enter is used to generate the shortcut name. Due to the nature of shortcut names, each field's shortcut name must be unique. And there is a preview shown on the right side. Should you want to make any edits, do so where possible and then select the Save button. If you need to make a change to a field that is locked, you will need to archive it and then recreate a new one. Else, simply select Cancel button. Let's select Cancel. Let's add a new contact field. Select the Create Contact Field button. The Create Contact Field pop-up box appears. Enter a name for the field name. For example, let's use preferred first name. Let's copy and paste the text. Select the field type drop-down arrow for the list of options. Some options are short answer, long answer, numeric answer, etc. Let's make this a short answer because a preferred first name needs to use a free text field and their answer will be short. The short answer field can hold up entries up to 255 characters and accepts numbers, letters, spaces, and symbols. When ready, select the Save button. The screen shows the added contact field. This is the Groups screen. Groups are contact lists created by users. They are static, which means they don't auto-update, and they get outdated. Archive outdated lists regularly, especially if they are over a year old. Include a date, season, semester, or some sort of time indicator in the group names so that they are easily identified in the listing. There are two groups tabs, regular and test. Information about the groups is shown via the column headers, group name, active contacts, opt-out contacts, error contacts, and actions. Note that audience sync from data primary with the lock icon is just a coding/programming tool. It is not an actual group but happens to appear in groups. Do not use this coding tool as your recipient when sending campaigns. On the far right, there is a three-dot menu with options for each one in the Actions column. Let's select the three-dot menu for In the News 2026. The pop-up menu appears. There are options to open, rename, or archive. Groups are user-created using file imports or created manually. Let's create a group. Select the Create a Group button. The Create a Group pop-up box appears. Enter a group name. Let's copy and paste it. Select the checkbox for This is a test group if applicable. Select the Create button. The new group is added and appears in the listing. Let's select the name to open it. While you can add individual contacts to this group using the Add Contact button, it may be more efficient to add contacts via a file import. This is the segment screen. Segments are contact lists that use contact fields and specific criteria, aka filters. They are dynamic, which means they update automatically. A segment shared by our data primary subaccount, as indicated with the lock icon, uses data from official NYU sources such as Albert SIS, PeopleSync, and SailPoint. These are created and managed by the Email Direct team. Some examples are NYU All, Housing Students All, IT Employees All, etc. There is a daily data sync to sync all of these segments dynamically. Users can create their own segments within their own subaccounts using available or user-created contact fields. For user-created segments, any update to a contact field for a contact is updated automatically for the contacts in the segments. This determines whether the contact meets the criteria. The criteria could be, is enrolled student yes or no? Is employee yes or no? Is part of a specific department in a unit or program in a school, and so on. Criteria could be geography-based, such as New York City, Paris, Shanghai, etc. Those criteria must exist for the contact in the profile in order to get pulled into that segment. Let's review the listing. Information about the segments is shown via the column headers. Segment name, description, member count, last run, and actions. A point to note about the member count is that the number displayed may not reflect what is actually contained on the back end. Having the member count displayed in real time would be a large stress on the system and can adversely affect platform performance. In order to view or display the actual count of what is contained on the back end, perform a refresh. Let's show an example. Let's select EMD Training employees. The details for this segment appear. Under the segment name, to the right of the date it was last updated, is the tool called Refresh. Select Refresh. Watch the contact number to the right of the screen. If there is a change, the number will be updated and displayed. Rest assured that all the contacts who are supposed to be in the segments are in the back end when sending campaigns, even if the count is not refreshed for the display. Let's go back to the landing screen for segments. Let's show how to create a new segment. Select the Create a Segment button. In the Create New Segment pop-up box, there are options to create from scratch or to use Smart Segment. We are going to demonstrate Create from Scratch because the Smart Segment option provides useful prompts. Select the Continue button. Enter a name in the Name segment field. Let's use Employees Have Not Clicked in 2026. Let's copy and paste the text. If desired, enter details in the description field. This field can be used to add more details that may help the user choose which segment to use. Let's copy and paste the text. For Find Contacts who meet the following criteria, select the drop-down arrow for the segment type field. Let's scroll through the list. There are audience, fields, response, and sign-up activity categories in uppercase, and within each there are specific options. Let's select is employee. The condition field appears. Let's select a drop-down arrow for it. Let's select equals. The select option field appears. Let's select the drop-down arrow for it. There is Y for yes and N for no. Let's select yes. To the upper right, the contacts total appears based on what we have used so far. Let's add more criteria. To add more criteria, select the AND or button. AND means must meet all conditions. Think of AND as also. The contact must match this and this. If only one condition is met, the contact won't be included. OR means can meet any condition. Think of OR as either. The contact can match this or this. They don't need to meet both. Because this is broader, it is most likely to have a higher contact count. Let's show the difference when selecting AND versus OR. Let's demonstrate the OR example first. For example, is employee equals yes or have not clicked? Select the OR button. In the segment type field, select have not clicked. 2 additional fields appear. Select the drop-down arrow for the Any Mailing field. The list contains sent campaigns that you can select. Let's leave it with Any Mailing. Select the drop-down arrow for the At Any Point field. The options are at any point, between, and in the last. If you choose between or in the last, select the desired date options. Let's select between. The date fields appear. Let's select the desired dates. Select the first date field. Select the desired date. Select the second date field. Select the desired date. The row reads, "Have not clicked any mailing between 1/1/2026-3/1/2026. Note the current contacts count reads 394. Let's demonstrate the AND example. For example, is employee equals yes and have not clicked. Let's delete this row for OR. Select the X at the far right to delete the criteria row. Select the AND button. In the segment type field, select Have not clicked. Two additional fields appear. Select the drop-down arrow for the Any Mailing field. The list contains sent campaigns that you can select. Let's leave it with Any Mailing. Select the drop-down arrow for the At Any Point field. The options are at any point, between, and in the last. If you choose between or in the last, select the desired date options. Let's select between. The date fields appear. Let's select the desired dates. Select the first date field. Select the desired date. Select the second date field. Select the desired date. The row reads, "Have not clicked any mailing between 1/1/2026-3/1/2026. Note the current contacts count reads 86. The contacts count with the OR criteria is higher than that of the AND criteria. Be careful when using many instances of AND or OR. Depending on the order, the platform may not produce the results you intended. Make sure to check the resulting counts with your expected counts. When ready, select the Save button. The segment is saved. Review the information in case you need to make any changes. This is the import screen. Only users with the editor, full, and manager UPLs have access to imports. Importing can be done in both forced type and subscription type subaccounts. However, forced type subaccounts must only contain contacts in the NYU community with the @nyu.edu domain or NYU Vanity domain and cannot use subscriptions. On this screen is the listing of the lists previously imported. Information about the imports is shown via the column headers. Import name, status, contacts added, contacts updated, errors, and date completed. When you import a list, you can add to your groups. Subscriptions can be used if you have a subscription type subaccount. During the process, you can assign the list to an existing group or create a new group. However, you can only assign the list to an existing subscription because you cannot create a new one during the process. Therefore, if you want to add the contacts to both groups and subscriptions, it is a good idea to create the subscription before doing the import action so that you can populate them both in one import process. The acceptable file formats are CSV, XLS, and XLSX. If desired, prepare the column headers of the spreadsheet to match the contact fields in your subaccount. This will enable the platform to map your data more easily. Let's do a basic import. Select the Import Contacts button. The screens for the import process are very helpful as they provide detailed instructions. It reads, Step 1, upload your list. You can drag and drop the file or select Choose File. Let's select the Choose File button. Find a desired file, select it, and then select the Open button. Let's scroll down. There are two options for how should we handle duplicate contacts. Update their records with information from this import, add an update, and leave them alone, add only. Update is the default, so let's leave it. Select the Continue button. It reads, Step 2, map your fields. The platform does its best to match the data in your file to the contact field set up in your subaccount. If your spreadsheet has a header row, make sure the skip box is checked. The column on the left contains the contact fields. The column on the right contains the file fields with the data that got mapped. It did a good job for email first name, email last name, NetID, and email. If you want to use a different contact field for the data, you can change it. There is a field in a red color that reads Ignore. For this data, I purposely named it Test Column to Skip to show what would happen if the platform couldn't map the data successfully. Let's select the drop-down arrow for Ignore. For any field that doesn't get mapped, either select it from the list or create one. Let's show what to do if you want to create one. Let's select Add Field at the very bottom. The Create Contact Field pop-up box appears. Proceed to enter the desired data. Because this was just for information, we are going to select Cancel. When ready, select the Continue button. It reads, Step 3, choose your groups. If you want to add a group, enter the group name in the Add a New Group field. Remember to include some sort of time indicator in the name, such as the date, because this is a static list and will get outdated. Let's use Email Direct Social with today's date. Let's copy and paste the text. Select the Add button. The newly created group appears in the list and has a check in the checkbox indicating that it is selected. Let's select an existing group as well. Select a checkbox or boxes for the desired groups. When ready, select the Continue button. It reads, Step 4, choose your subscriptions. Remember, there is no ability to add a subscription during the import process. Let's select an existing subscription. Remember, only subscription type subaccounts can use subscriptions. When ready, select the Continue button. This is the summary screen. If you see something that you want to change, select the Back button. If you want to cancel, select the Cancel button. If all is as desired, select the Import button. Near the top of the screen, a message appears that reads, "Your import is currently in progress." This usually takes a minute or two. You may navigate away from this page and work elsewhere in your account. The listing appears, including the list that was imported. You can review the high-level stats here or select the name to see more details. You can try to refresh it so that it's done. Let's select the name. A pop-up box appears. It contains the numbers for added, updated, error, duplicates, and skipped. It reads who the list was imported by and to which groups. Select the Close button to close it. It's a good idea to check the contact list you imported the contacts into. Let's go to Groups. Find the group you created during the process. We used Email Direct Social 2026 0306. It is in the list and shows the contact numbers. Find the group you included as well. We used Email Direct Participants 2026. Let's go to Subscriptions. Note that only subscription type subaccounts can use subscriptions. Find the subscriptions you added contacts to. It doesn't appear to have added the contacts because it reads 0. Remember to use the Updated Subscription Count button to display the counts. The contact numbers appear. Remember, counts may not display what is on the back end because displaying counts in real time can be a stress on the system and affect platform performance. This is the Connect screen. If applicable, here is where you can sync your contacts from several CRMs, Customer Relationships Management, with Emma directly from your account. Each of the integrations syncs your contacts nightly from the CRM to your Emma audience. Once connected, you can also choose to manually sync from the Connect page whenever necessary. The available apps to integrate are Eventbrite, Club Ready, MindBody, and Classic Eventbrite. Important points to note are: you need your own accounts for the integration software mentioned, separate from Email Direct. Any outside integration account setup or costs are the user's responsibility. Only users with the Manager UPL can use the apps on the Connect screen. If you do not have the Manager UPL, work with your teammate who does.